Good afternoon. Um, I don't know if you've been watching any of this, but the Senate confirmation hearings are taking place right now. Actually, yesterday was, I believe, who was in the hot seat yesterday? It was Hegseth and I believe Miss Bondi, who's going to be the AG, and Hegseth is going to be the Secretary of Defense, which they will be. Don't let anybody kid you. Nobody's going anywhere. The Democrats screwed that up a long time ago. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but oh, and by the way, we're starting this. I'm starting this, putting on my videos on YouTube. So if you would, right down below here, right here, here is a subscribe button, and I would appreciate you doing that. Also, like the video and hit the little bell so that you're notified when I post something new. So, um, where was I? I lost my train of thought. Of course. Oh yeah, the Senate hearings. Um, I don't know if you watched any of this, but it's worth watching. It truly is. Um, it seems that some of the women, oh, actually, the Democrats screwed up. Yeah, I forgot that. The Democrats screwed up back, I believe it was when Harry Reid was, um, I believe he was a Senate majority leader, if I'm not mistaken. And they decided that in their infinite wisdom, and I think it was during the Obama administration, they thought it'd be a good idea that during Senate confirmation hearings for cabinet members and things of that sort, that uh, prior to this there was a rule. It was a filibuster. In other words, they could filibuster a nominee, never bring him to the floor for a vote, never. Okay, so that was a tool that everybody used. Well, the Democrats got pissed off about it and said, you know what, we're going to change this. While they were in the majority, they said, no, this is during the Obama administration. They said, you know what, we're going to change that rule. We do not want a filibuster anymore that prevents nominees from being, securing their position to be nominated and confirmed is the word. Uh, and the Republicans told them, they said, this probably isn't a good idea if you think about it. And a lot of the pundits said the same thing. And said, people strategists, they said, this is not a good idea because you're not going to be in that position forever, right? You're not going to have the majority forever. Well, guess what? What chickens came home to roost. Now they can't prevent at any way, shape, or form these people from coming to the floor for a vote. And that's what they're going to get. These people are going to get confirmed. Hegseth was probably the most controversial, other than Kash Patel, who's going to be the head of the FBI. Um, it's funny. It's funny how when people look back at what some of the things that their colleagues have done in the past, and you find out that they're the ones that screwed it up for you. I think that's hilarious. I really do. Now, Pete seems like a pretty nice guy. He had some problems, and with his marriage and so forth, of course. And for anybody to stand up there and act like, well, what was interesting about these hearings, from what I saw, I didn't watch the entire thing. I have to admit, I didn't do that. I saw clips of it, but from everything I've read and everything that I've seen, it appears that they're more interested, especially the women in this instance. Gillibrand, Warren, and Harona from Hawaii. Women. They're interested in this guy's sex life, apparently, and whether or not he drinks. And I think that's amazing because I have heard more than one story myself. I've heard more than one story of people in Congress saying that sometimes when you walk into the Senate floor, especially if it's late in the evening, you can smell the booze everywhere. Okay, so they're all drunk. Or they've been drinking. They've probably been to dinner. I mean, and I'm just saying this is just human nature. It is. What if you're a drinker at all? And I'll be honest with you, if you don't, if you're a teetotaler, I don't trust you anyway. Somebody won't have a drink just to kind of join the crowd. I mean, an alcoholic, that's a little different. But for the most part, most people do this at dinner, especially these people. These are the elite. What are they going to do? They're going to have a drink while they're having dinner. So naturally, when they show up on the Senate floor, they stink. They reek of booze. So you've got You've got, well, as a matter of fact, let me play one of the clips here. This is Hirona right here. No, this sad sack from Hawaii. Oh my God.
Is prohibited
she's
for service
hilarious.
members under
Let's listen to this.
regularly being drunk at work, including by people who worked with you at Fox News. Do you know that being drunk at work is prohibited for service members under the UCMJ?
Senator, those
Yes
are
or no?
multiple false anonymous reports peddled by NBC
Do you
News
know
that run
that
directly
drinking on the job
contradictory to the
is
dozens of men and women at
not
Fox News
contemplated?
Channel who I work with
I'm
who
not
came
hearing
on
the
the
answer to my
record
question.
and said they
Isn't she pretty? Isn't she? Is she so attractive? She really is. She's got a thing for this guy. All these women do. It's the damnedest thing I ever seen. Why don't they just ask him for his phone number? For the love of God, why don't you just do that, Miss Maisie? You're a middle-aged, overweight woman, and you're asking questions of a guy who is. First of all, I want to make sure this is clear. If you want somebody that's qualified to run the military in the United States, this guy, and it has nothing to do with the fact that he's a Republican. He could be a Democrat. He could be a civilian. He could have no affiliation whatsoever in my book. Because honestly, the only requirement is that you just have to be a civilian of the United States to be the head of the military. You don't have to be in the military, but this guy is. Why wouldn't you want him? He's got 20 years of combat experience. He knows the system. Of course you would want that. So they really cannot attack his military record. I didn't hear anybody talking about his military record whatsoever. His qualifications right now have come down to whether or not he had a drink on occasion. Now, this Hirona is saying that somebody from Fox News said that he was drunk on the job. Is that true? I don't know. It's Fox News. I'm sure they drink at some point in the building during the evening hours. This guy was a weekend correspondent for Fox News. So I just think it's funny that these women are attacking him, and the only thing they can come up with is the fact that he had a little trouble in his marriage, and he may drink a little bit. So if that's all you've got, then I'd say that he's probably confirmed. As a matter of fact, let's listen to this one. Now this is the questions that you should be asking. And these are kind of remedial what this guy's asking. But I mean,
can you fit into the magazine?
I think these are good questions.
Guam is pretty strategically significant.
How many rounds of 5.56 can you fit into the magazine of an M4 rifle?
Depends on the magazine, but standard issue is 30, Senator.
And what size round does the M9 Beretta standard issue sidearm for the military fire?
And I thought that was a stupid question. Anybody could get that one. I mean, who's buried in Grant's tomb, right? So what kind of ammo goes in a 9mm? Well, I think it's a 9mm.
A 9mm.
Yeah, right. There you go. That was a tough one.
What kind of batteries do you put in your night vision goggle?
Now, this was kind of cute.
Duracell.
Duracell batteries, yeah. I'm with him. Got a chuckle out of the crowd.
So right there, you're representing qualifications that show you understand what the warfighter deals with every single day on the battlefield. You understand what happens on the front line, where our troops will be. And what happens, unfortunately, in this country is decisions made in rooms like this, bad decisions, end up in dead 17, 18, 19-year-old Americans. And those Americans rarely come from families that sit in rooms like this. They come.
Exactly. Hence the protest songs of the 60s. I'm not a senator's son. Exactly. He's 100% correct. This Tim Sheehy, he's exactly right. It's never the people within that building. It's never their children. So who do they give a shit? They don't care who's in charge of the military. As long as they get their military contracts and the people who are friends of theirs in the military industrial complex get their contracts, that way they get their kickbacks and they're basically their blood money. That's what they're interested in. So this guy is 100% correct. Families that sit in these rooms like they come from lower and middle income families. It's exactly right. They're the ones that fight the battles. And to have someone like Mr. Austin, who is the Secretary of Defense for the last 4 years, be there, this DEI hire that weighs 400 pounds, who couldn't run a quarter mile if his life depended on it, and it probably would cost him his life. Now you've got a fit, good-looking, young, qualified man being absolutely blasted by these people. It's embarrassing. It really is. It really is. And these are great questions, what he asked, and a great statement. Listen
from
to the rest of
lower
it.
middle income families who sometimes the military is their only way out. And they join because maybe they want to go to college. Maybe they have no other choice. Maybe they love this country. But for whatever reason, they joined and they sat on the dotted line. And when people like us screw up, they don't come home. And that's the one thing that I care about. As you remember when I shut the door, when you came with your entourage, Senator Coleman, I've known for a long time, and you and I sat together, asked you one question. You remember what that question was?
Are you going to have the backs of the war fighters?
Exactly. What is going to be your number one priority? And I don't care, frankly, what all these letters and articles say. I've been a part of a smear campaign too. I get it.
He's right. Smear campaign. That's all it is. It's the same thing they did to Kavanaugh. It's the same thing they did to Clarence Thomas. It's the same thing every single time. It's a smear campaign. They want to put as much pressure on the Trump administration to make it as hard as possible for them to get up and running. This guy is perfectly qualified to be the Secretary of Defense. Trump wouldn't have chosen him if he wasn't. I think it's embarrassing what they've done. I really do. They should be ashamed of themselves. I'm actually insulted by some of these people from the questions that they asked. You're not asking about really strategy. You're not asking about military readiness. I mean, this guy, he's going to have the backs of the soldiers. That's the way it should be. His number one concern should be, we do not fight wars that we have no business being in. We're not going to send our sons and sometimes our daughters, and that's a completely different subject, to foreign lands to die needlessly. That's what I want. That's what I want the Trump administration to focus on. I think this is the guy that's going to do it. I really do. Now, has he had some trouble with his marriage? Sure. Who hasn't? Has he been drunk before? Oh, come on. A military guy? Please. You're asking a question like that? I mean, that's embarrassing. It really is. As a matter of fact, let's do this real quick. Yeah, let's do this. Watch this.
Son, we live in a world that has walls, and those walls have to be guarded by men with guns. Who's going to do it? You?
Do I need to say any more? Do I? Does anyone? This guy should have been qualified just to the fact that he's not this person. And I can't remember what his or her name is. But the point being, we want to be ready. There's two things that the military does. There's two things. There's only two things the military does. They don't create anything. It's not like they manufacture anything. They're at a huge expense for the United States. They really are. You're talking about $1 trillion a year is spent on the military. We should be ready. We should be, because there's only two things that the military does. One is they kill people. And number two is they blow shit up. That's it. That's all the military does. So if we're going to do that, let's be really good at it. And I, for one, want to live in a country again where the world trembles when they hear our tanks coming, our people. I want them to be terrified of us, is what I want. I want the world to kneel in front of us. I do. I want at least respect us. And they don't right now. And I think this guy is going to bring it back. I really do. I think he's going to bring back the respect that the United States military and the United States deserves. I really do. But let's not throw our weight around. Let's not go out and fight needlessly in places that no one's even heard of. I mean, seriously, 2 years ago, most people couldn't even pick Ukraine out on a map. Hell, most people can't pick Spain out. But I'm just saying, why do this? Is Russia a threat? If it is, we'll know soon enough. Okay? And I don't want to get into the Ukraine invasion. I'm not going to be a Putin apologist. I'm not. Was it the wrong thing to do? I don't know. We've invaded Iran or Iraq and Afghanistan, Syria, Libya. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. What distinctions do you draw on this? So anyway, back to Hegseth. I'm going to have a hard time saying that guy's name. Hegseth. Hegseth. I need to say that 10 times so I get it right. Hegseth. I think he's totally qualified to do this. I feel confident. I would feel confident him being in charge at 4:00 in the morning when the phone rings and they come to you and there's a problem. I believe this guy's going to be ready. Now, I can't say the same for Joe Biden. I couldn't say the same for Kamala Harris. And granted, Kamala Harris drinks. We know she does. But showing up to a meeting drunk, that's a little bit. But no one got disqualified for that. No one did. As a matter of fact, no one's been disqualified for that. These senators show up drunk to meetings and no one kicks them out. And we'll discuss that here in just a second. There's a clip here I want to play for you. Let's play this right quick.
Sure that every general who serves should not go directly into the defense industry for 10 years. But you're not willing to make that same pledge?
I'm not a general, Senator.
You'll be the one, let us just be clear, in charge of the generals?
Did you see that? Did you get that? That was hilarious. Did you see her eyes after she said that and they started laughing?
I'm not a general, Senator.
He's not a general.
You'll be the
guy
one,
on the left there.
let us just be clear, in charge of the generals?
What an idiot.
Quite sure
Yeah.
that every general who
That's
serves
pretty funny.
should not go directly into the defense industry.
That's pretty funny. I got a big kick out of that because she is a piece of work. Elizabeth Warren is a piece of work. Pocahontas, oh my God. Got into Harvard because she said she was an Indian. You know the story. And she has the audacity to stand up there and take umbrage at this guy and go after him when he is a line combat veteran. Why are women even asking these questions? Is what I want to know. Why are you allowing women in here? Women don't want men talking about abortion. I've heard that more than once. You don't have a womb. You have no right to talk about that. Women don't fight in the military on the front lines, or they shouldn't, in my opinion. Yeah. So why are you talking about it? And not only that, but why are you asking some of these most ridiculous questions I've ever heard? Yeah. Why are you doing this? And then not even phrase the question so that it makes sense. He's not a general. So why would he say, I don't think I won't sign this pledge that I won't go into the private sector unless 10 years has passed. Pocahontas, Warren's pretty bad. She's how she continues to be elected is beyond me, but Bernie Sanders does too. So I really can't say much. I don't know. The stupidity of people, you just can't underestimate it. You really can't. And I say 4 out of 10. I've got a t-shirt that says on it 4 out of 10, and I'm being generous, is probably accurate, I think. And it may be, and I'm sure it's low, as I say. 4 out of 10 are stupid, either that or mentally ill. In America today, think about that. Every time you go out on the street, every time you go to the store and you pass 10 people, 4 of them are complete morons. And I mean, you wouldn't trust them with your garden tools. You really wouldn't. Yet they're allowed to walk around and get elected to positions of power like this. It's embarrassing. And I'm not just saying Democrat. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying liberal. I'm not saying progressive. I'm not saying Republican. I'm talking about all of them. Most of these people aren't qualified to run a toll booth, much less run the country. And yet they're allowed to get on these committees that take people who are 100% qualified for the job that they're wanting and let them berate them and demean them and embarrass them. Pete Hegseth's daughter, 7-year-old daughter, was there during these hearings. And these senators are talking about his marital problems. Yeah, that's real nice. Yeah, that's real nice. I have no respect for any of these people. I don't. In Congress, I don't. Especially the ones that were on this this panel. Let's see. Here's a good one. This is a good one here. And he got exactly what he deserved. Now this is a, let's see, who is this?
Command.
Yeah, but I'm just making a point because there's a lot about qualifications. And I think it's so hypocritical of senators, especially on the other side of the aisle, be talking about his qualifications, not being able to lead the secretary or be the Secretary of Defense, and yet your qualifications aren't any better. You guys aren't any more qualified to be the senator than I'm qualified to be the senator, except we're lucky enough to be here. But let me read you what the qualifications of the Secretary of Defense is, because I Googled it and went through a lot of different sites, and really it's hard to see. But in general, the U.S. Secretary of Defense position is filled by a civilian. That's it.
I love this guy, and I can't remember which senator he is. I'll find out. But the fact that he brings to the light the fact that you're not even qualified to be a senator, and then self-deprecating, he says it about himself. He's not even qualified. It's just that I'm that lucky. Oh, his name is Mark Wayne Mullen. Yeah, Senate Armed Service Committee. He's a Republican from Oklahoma. Now he's a Republican, so he's going to defend this guy. But I love this. I love this, and he gets down and dirty here too about drinking. Watch.
If you have served in the U.S. Army Forces and have been in the service for, you have to be retired for at least 7 years, and Congress can weigh that. And then there's questions that the senator from Massachusetts brought up about serving on a board inside the military industry, and yet your own secretary that you all voted for, Secretary of Austin, we had to vote on a waiver because he stepped off the board of Raytheon.
The board of Raytheon. Did you get that? It doesn't get any more military industrial complex than Raytheon. They're the ones that make the missiles. Yes. They're the ones that charge $30,000 for a bag of bolts that's this big. That's who we're talking about. Austin served on their board. A black man, a morbidly obese black man. He was qualified under the Biden administration to run the Department of Defense. And he's done a tremendous job. Oh yes. We're feared by everybody. Maybe some rural schools might be afraid of the military. Other than that, anybody around the country is not really too worried about us anymore. Not till now. You'll notice things are starting to change. So keep listening.
But I guess that's okay because that's a Democrat Secretary of Defense.
A Democrat. Yeah, exactly.
But you so quickly forget about that. And then Senator Kaine, or I guess I better use the senator from Virginia, starts bringing up the fact that what if you showed up drunk to your job? How many senators have showed up drunk to vote at night? Have any of you guys asked them to step down and resign from their job?
Of course not.
And don't tell me you haven't seen it because I know you have. And then how many senators do you know have got a divorce before cheating on their wives? Did you ask them to step down? No. But it's for show. You guys make sure you make a big show.
Right. It's for show. It's for show. They want to show that they're tough and they're the elite and they have the upper hand and that you have to bow to them. It's ridiculous. It really is. It's ridiculous. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. These people are absolutely embarrassing. I have absolutely no time for them whatsoever. I'm so embarrassed by the people that run this country. It's incredibly it's insulting. It really is. So will he get confirmed? I think he will. I don't think they have much choice. I think the Republicans, it's a completely different ballgame than it was in 2016. Trump has everyone on the same page, and he basically is threatening them with primaries, and I don't blame him. That's what I would do. If you don't play the game with me, then I will primary someone. We'll get somebody in here that will, and you'll lose your job. So it seems like we're getting on board pretty quickly here. And I think that's great because if there's one thing the Democrats can do, if there's one thing they're good at, that's sticking together. Even if it's insane what they're talking about, they do stick together. That's something Republicans have had a really hard time doing. And I think Trump's coming along. I think he is bringing them together. Reluctantly they're coming, but they don't have much choice. So will Hegseth be nominated? I think he will. I think he really will. Here's another crazy lady. This is Hildebrand from Christian Hildebrand, I believe it is, from New York. This is a great one. Listen to this.
I don't want women. I don't want moms. What's wrong with a mom, by the way? Once you have babies, you therefore are no longer able to be lethal.
Yeah, you are. As a matter of fact, ma'am, Kristen, that's exactly right. You're not lethal. Okay. You've never been in battle, or maybe she has. No, I don't think this is Kristen. I think it's Duckworth. Tammy Duckworth has. Most of these people that are on this board have never been in battle. They don't know what they're talking about. The guy on the left, Pete, he's been in battle. People have been shooting at him. So he probably has a better idea of what should be done and who should be on the battlefield. And Kristen, she's taking umbrage with this. She's getting a little upset, and she's really upset because he's good looking and she would like to get his phone number. I swear to God, I think that's what it is.
You're basically saying women after they have children can't ever serve in the military in a combat role. It's a silly thing to say.
No, it's not a silly thing to say because you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Okay. It's a silly thing for you to comment on it. That's where we're at now. Yeah. So you can say what you want. It's a silly thing for her to be saying. It really is. It really is.
It's a silly thing to say beneath the position that you are aspiring to. To denigrate LGBTQ service members is...
Oh my God. And the LGBTQ, come on. No one gives a rat's ass. They don't. But you got to bring it up every time. That's your go-to thing here. That's your go-to thing. The Democrats love that. The gays, we let the gays marry, and then that wasn't enough. We have to move on. We have to have, I don't know what's coming next. I don't know what's coming next. I really don't. This is one of the saddest displays I've ever seen. I hate to keep going back to this, but I'm actually insulted by this kind of questioning. You're insulting this guy's his record. You really are. He's a military man. He served his country. He put his life on the line. He fought in Iraq. I mean, he's had people shooting at him. This woman, her biggest, Miss Gildebrand, her biggest concern is where she's going to have lunch today. So I don't take her word as anything worthy at all. I really don't. She's embarrassing anyway. Democrat from New York. Give me a break. Give me a break. So at the end of the day, what do I think is going to happen? I think Bondi, by the way, I didn't play any of her stuff. I may do that tomorrow. That was some outstanding comeback from her too. And she's a good looking gal, smart. She's quick on her feet, well-spoken. They had their hands full with her too. And I think she'll be nominated as well. I don't think they have much choice. This is all for show. So at the end of the day, here's what happened during this. And I'll show you. I'll play this. This is basically what
his name is John C.
That's what happened to the Democrats today. They got hammered. They got what do they call it? Not dogpiled, but anyway, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I think he's going to be confirmed. And by the way, did you hear? I heard a rumor that Trump's going to, during the parade after the inauguration, he's going to have a garbage truck in the parade. You can't make this shit up. I swear. He's such a troller. I swear. So he's going to have, and he should be handing out fries while he's at it. McDonald's fries. He should be handing them out to everybody that's in the parade instead of throwing candy, throw fries. I think that'd be great. Now, also, I just heard today that he's nominated 2 ambassadors to California, envoys, he's calling them. They're going to go in and see if they can't straighten out Hollywood. That's going to be their new assignment. and it's Mel Gibson, Sylvester Stallone, and John Voight. And I swear to God, the day when I saw that announced on TV, when I happened to be walking by the monitor, I saw that And I swear to God, I thought I heard heads exploding in DC and around the country. The lunatic left is going to go insane. This is going to be, I tell you what, folks, if you get the chance and you can take the day off Monday, I suggest you sit in front of the TV Monday. This is going to be great. I'm not doing anything Monday. I'm going to watch this exclusively. Now, I'm assuming and I'm hoping that nothing happens bad. Okay. Would the deep state try to take out, Donald Trump? I'm not saying they wouldn't. Okay. I'm not saying they wouldn't, but let's go with the assumption that it's all going to go without anything lethal. Okay, and that's a stretch. I will say that because they tried to kill him twice. But I'm hoping against hope that nothing violent happens and we get a new president on January 20th at 12:01 p.m. I really do, because there's going to be protests. BLM's going to be there. Antifa's going to be there. The pussy hat wearing women. The all of the crazies. The LGBT community will be there. Everybody who has everyone, Palestinians, the pro-Palestinian people will be there. It's going to be a shit show like you've never seen. Yeah, and I mean, I know that the Super Bowl's coming up and everything. But this may be more entertaining than the Super Bowl. I've seen my share of Super Bowls. They're not the most entertaining thing you would ever want to watch. This, my friends, is going to be great. And he's going to start on day one. He's got, I believe he said, at least 100 executive orders he's going to sign immediately. It's going to start off with a bang. They're going to be up and running in 2 hours is what I'm thinking. And, we'll have the inauguration party. That's fine. I have no problem with that. If I was Trump, I wouldn't even attend it. Who cares? He's not trying to get reelected again. He's not. He doesn't have to do that. So he's a lame duck right out of the gate. So he can do whatever he wants. And he's got the power now because this movement is not going anywhere. The MAGA movement is not going to go away. This is going to be a part of political history, maybe for 100 years. I don't know. And what I find so amusing is that my son was talking the other day that he wore a MAGA hat into a small town out here in Missouri, and people were pointing at him and making fun of him. And I think again, I go back to 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10 people in America are idiots. And the fact that, if MAGA, make America great again. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Even if you don't like Trump, the idea itself, the words, the phrase, what is wrong with that? And what's funny is you ask anyone, they can't explain it to you. They just know they hate him with no reasoning. No, they can't even define it most of the time. So I'm all for this. I'm looking forward to this. We're going to be talking a lot more. This is going to be a great time, folks. Are there going to be some ups and downs? Absolutely. Absolutely. He'll do things that I think are stupid. But, and then he'll do things that I think are wonderful, that I agree with wholeheartedly. But he's going to do some dumb stuff. Yeah. By my opinion. And there may be some strategy behind it. I really don't know. I don't know what that will be at this point. If I had to guess, it may have something to do with the Israeli Palestinian conflict. But there again, that's a no-win situation. That really is. I can almost guarantee you this. I don't think any new wars will start. We will have less wars in a year than we have today. I would say that's a safe bet. I really do. I don't think he won, especially with Pete Hegseth in charge. It's going to take a while to get this military back up and running. We are going to have to make some major changes. DEI is going to have to go the way of the buggy whip. It really is. Women in combat, not a fan. I don't think it's good. I think it's detrimental and it makes us less lethal. The LGBT community being involved in this, transgender, no, that all needs to be eliminated for the military. We need to go back to the basics. You need to get recruitment up. You need to give these people a reason to serve their military, not to go in and get a sex change operation while you're there. Sorry, that's the way I feel. And I don't care who doesn't like that. It really doesn't matter to me. It is true, and it needs to be done, and it needs to be done quickly, because eventually, if this continues on the way it is right now, if this continues on, we are going to not be the leader of the free world. Right now, we're on the cusp. I'm not even sure we still are, but we can come back again. Make America great again. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. I mean, these wildfires out in California, what they did in North Carolina, what they did in Maui, turned their back on the American public, taxpayers. They turned their back on them. And then Joe Biden has the audacity last night at 8 o'clock Central Time to get up there and say that America's in better shape than it was when he first took office. That's the most ridiculous statement I've ever heard. It really is. It just tells you how clueless and out of touch this guy is. He's been told that, so he repeated it. So I think he should just fade into the sunset. This would be the last weekend we have him around. KJP gave her last White House briefing, so now she can start her new career as a fire watcher. Okay, that's about all she's qualified for, is to watch fires. Although she'll probably end up on The View or MSNBC would be my guess. Yeah, I'm sure she's got a deal of some kind. Her and Jen Psaki can sit and compare notes about their time at the press room. But having said that, I want to talk about this too. The press corps is going to be completely different than it was. Now, mind you, that's a charade anyway. It really is. The press secretary, that's a charade. But I think what they're going to do, though, they're going to take the major networks and stick them in the back of the room. See, they're assigned certain seats. I don't know if you're aware of that. And it's all based on influence and who knows who. So MSNBC, well, not MSNBC, but NBC, CBS, ABC, Rutgers, the Associated Press, they're all given front row seats so that they can ask questions. Trump's going to change that. I think he's going to stick them in the back of the room. Yeah. So that's going to be interesting. He's actually going to have people asking questions that are not mainstream media. People, well, I mean, not like me, but I mean, people who, independent journalists, people who do investigative reporting, the Cy Hirsches of the world, people like that, people who are not affiliated with a huge conglomerate. And I think that's great. I can name 10 or 12 of them that I think I would love to see at a press conference. Alex Jones would be one. Joe Rogan, Steve Turley. There's hundreds and hundreds of them. And I think it would be great for them to ask questions, because they will ask the questions and they'll want follow-up. And I think that's fantastic. I think, whoop, my camera's doing something weird here. It's not in focus. Sorry about that. There we go. Anyway, that's all I got today. Do me a favor, if you would, whatever platform you're watching this on, be sure and subscribe and like the video. And, if you want, subscribe, you'll get notified then when I post something new, because I'm going to attempt to do it every day, at least 3 times a week. We'll see how that goes. But bottom line is, all I want and all I'm interested in is your subscription and your likes. That's it. I'm not asking for anything else. It's the only thing YouTube uses that as currency, basically. So if you could help me out there, I'd appreciate it. So that's all I got today. You guys have a good one, and peace out.